Hi guys, Brand here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today we're going to be taking a different look at kind of what we do on this channel, which is mostly focusing on game balance. Is this perk too strong? Is this perk too weak? Is this character too strong? Is this character too weak? You know, kind of going through all that stuff and kind of looking at it on the other side, kind of being a little bit more introspective into what we do, because is this really the best thing? And will DBD actually ruin itself if it tries to strive for balance too much? I think obviously the thing that's kind of brought this into our attention is the kind of the stuff that's been happening in the past like 6 months in DBD. Obviously we had the huge Midge chapter, which added a lot of killer base kit buffs. And also we've had a lot of survivor perks like BT and Unbreakable going to become BT already base kit. Unbreakable will become base kit if they go through with the beta changes. So a lot of things are very like massively changing the game. Obviously the sudden death mode as well, that's going to be happening with the last man standing mechanic, with the Mori being base kit to just the gameplay cycle itself. The game is really undergoing like a lot of very, very dramatic changes lately, and things that are going to change the face of the game literally forever. And a lot of these changes are being made in order to kind of counter game balance and the lack of game balance that the game has, and try to make the game feel better. That way people don't feel as off-put by it, and the times that they lose, it doesn't feel as bad. And they're really kind of hard focusing on this. And this is what like I and a lot of people have really like pushed for a very, very long time, is that behavior start looking more at the game balance. Because, you know, historically behavior hasn't really cared about game balance at all. They just kind of like throw stuff at the wall, and if it sticks, it sticks, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. They don't really have that kind of like intense care, or at least it previously had not had that intense care for making the game feel a little bit more balanced and feel better from that perspective. But now they do, and it's shaking up a lot of things, and the solutions they're coming up for sometimes are good and sometimes are really bad, but either way they are changing the game in a dramatic way. I think especially with this recent PTB test that they did with the Instamori and the Unbreakable being added to base kit now, we really got to start questioning at a certain point that if we start making a lot of changes that don't end up landing, will that eventually ruin the game? You got to think about the fact that the game has been largely the same for literally like 4+ years. Like the game ever since 2016 all the way up until like this year, besides like, you know, introducing like, you know, better perk balance somewhat, and then like anti-chase killers, the game's basically played the same way since it was back then. Obviously map changes happened as well that made the maps a little bit more balanced, but you know, I can't go over everything. But you know what I'm saying? It's like the game, despite those minor changes, has largely been the same over the course of the 4+ years it had been around. And then in this past like year or two, it seems like they're really trying to like tackle and like attack the core of the game to try and kind of like, you know, scrub away some of these balance issues. And I think we just got to think to ourselves that while it's fun to like theorize about like this perk should be that, or this thing should be that, or this character should be nerfed, or this is unfair, are we eventually going to end up in a place where we ask behavior to change so much that the game kind of like stops looking like itself at a certain point, and it stops feeling like DBD? Because I mean, obviously we wouldn't keep playing this game if we didn't enjoy it. I know there's a lot of things that are frustrating about the game, like, you know, Starstruck Nurse or gen rushing or whatever. You know, there's plenty of things in this game that are frustrating to deal with, annoying to deal with, and it makes you sad when you run into them. And of course, in a perfect world, you know, you wish you could just like reach into the game and just, you know, hit a button, nerf that thing, touch that thing. If you were in charge of behavior one day, you would just go in and change all this stuff, right? But I think the fact of the matter is that, like, for the most part, the game is fun, or else we wouldn't keep playing it. The game's core like situation is fun, or else we wouldn't keep playing it. So it just starts to kind of worry me at a certain point that like, and it's partially my fault, you know, because like I like to talk about balance and, you know, want to push for balance changes, is that if we start changing the core of the game over and over and over and over and over again, at a certain point, we're actually going to be starting to like remove that formula that's kind of been drawing us to this game for years and years to begin with. We are going to be slowly erasing that game that we got attached to from ourselves. And then we won't be able to like, and we don't know what that new thing will be. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know what it will be replaced with, if that will be better, if that will be worse. And that's just kind of like a scary thing. And I'm not saying that like you should never talk about game balance. That's because that's, you know, it's YouTube. So somebody's going to be on the comments like, I can't believe you said that. I'm not jumping to the other extreme. I'm not saying like never talk about balance. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that like maybe we be like a little bit more careful about like huge base kit changes, because we don't want to end up like turning the game into something that it's not, and then kind of have it turn into something that's not as great. So yeah, What do you guys think? Do you think that focusing too much on balance changes could possibly ruin the game, or do you think it's just a fine, healthy thing? Let me know down in the comments below. And that's gonna be it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. But if I do not, I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.